if you're a small business owner, or you work for yourself in any way, I want to ask you one question. If you didn't work tomorrow, you didn't go into your business, you didn't go and do your work, would you still get paid? Because most people that run their own business wouldn't get paid if they didn't go and work tomorrow. Because 99% of the economy in most countries is made up of small businesses. And what's crazy is that even though they make up 99% of the economy, literally you can do a basic Google search for your country and look up the percentage of small businesses with under 5 employees that as a percentage of the entire, GDP of the country, right? It will be well over 80 to 90%. In most cases, closer to 95 or 99%. So, considering they make up such a large part of the economy, why is it that those businesses make the least amount of money? Now, understandably, if you have millions of businesses that make tens or hundreds of thousands, that's going to make up the majority of the economy. Compared to another business that is a small part of the economy but makes more, because you have less of more, but you have more of less, makes up a larger amount. Basic maths. But even so, if there's so many small businesses, why are they struggling to make more money? Well, I think it comes down to a couple of different reasons. And these reasons are what I want to go over in this video. And this is actually after a lot of contemplation and research into this as, small businesses as the entire target market that I am always trying to help as an agency owner. I'm always trying to see, what's the next or most prominent problems that small business owners face. Why are they struggling to grow? Why are my clients struggling to grow? How are we helping our current clients? And all these different questions. And the main problems that I see with small businesses, especially the very small businesses that make up the large majority of small businesses, are the freelancers, the tradesmen, the small online businesses that are one-man bands or handymans, the tradesmen. These people, they make up most of the economy, like I said. And so, if they're stuck in this trap where they wouldn't get paid if they didn't go to work tomorrow, then how can they get out of this situation where, like a book that I've been looking into, unfortunately still haven't physically read the book. I've listened to the audiobook fully and watched many summaries of it like I enjoy doing. But a book by Michael E. Gerber called The E-Myth Revisited, and he's made a whole franchise book series on the E-Myth, basically summarizing the entrepreneur myth, which is that, again, coming back to small businesses, most small businesses, at least the business owners, work in their business rather than working on their business. And the problem here being, if they don't even realize it, that as a business, for the most part, obviously there's going to be exceptions, people just don't want to, and that's fine. But for the most part, most businesses do want more. They want growth or momentum, change in an upwards trajectory in some way, shape or form. But they're just not sure how to do it, or not sure how to get there, or whatever the reasons might be. And from, again, the research I do, from the cold calls I've made this year, having done over, 4,000 or 5,000 cold calls now, and done probably a couple of thousand more in the past month or so, I have been trying to figure out the problems that small business owners face and get to the root cause of why all of these businesses are in this position. These small micro businesses that are stuck in this trap of they cannot get out of working in the business. They're unable to get out of this hole so that they can actually work on the business and grow it and get their time back, get momentum, and make more money and grow the business. And I'm not on about trying to grow into a multi-million-dollar franchise or corporation, become the next Google, Apple, or Amazon. I'm simply on about the idea that if most small businesses could get to a point where they are making anywhere from 3 to 5 times more as a minimum of what they're currently making, even if it is just with an extra few more contractors or employees in a position where they've bought their time back and they have the option to, but they're obviously in no way obliged to. They own the business, it should be up to them. That's the whole point of this. In a position where they can continue managing and running the business, or even come in and hire a manager so they can just sit back, relax, and have a pension fund, basically, at a nice age. But more importantly, they have a business that runs itself if they want it to, or they can still manage it and just have more hours on the side and earn a lovely income from that as well, without having to worry about running the business on a day-to-day. And I think there's actually, I think it was the vice chairman, whatever that means, of Ogilvy, called Rory Sutherland, who's got a lot of TikTok and internet fame in the past couple of years for his very unique character and perspective on psychology and marketing, consumerism. And he explains how you can literally grow GDP by an extra 2 to 3% if you literally work on getting small business owners out of this position where they are working basically from in the business to on it. And although he mentioned about, using marketing and creative solutions to bring more attention and traffic and grow the business by that extra 20 to 30%, that you grow the entire economy in that country by around 2 to 3% per year. And I think this is really interesting because, again, this small business trap where most small businesses are focused on the next day, the next week, the next month. And if you really look closely, most small businesses are no different to employees. They just have the luxury that they get to pick when their holiday is. They make their own holiday, but they still can't have more than a month off a year at most, or 2 weeks. Or they cannot pick their salary because they control how much they make based on what they charge. And in a way, I think that's kind of the inception of the small business trap, where you think you are successful. And sure, having a small business is successful. Having a business of any kind is amazing. But you get into this trap where you have this illusion of control, where you see that you have control in some areas, like when you go on holiday, how long you go on holiday for, because based on how much time you can afford to take off, what you charge, and how much you pay yourself. But it's actually still just the beginnings of the entire process to getting out of being this small micro business owner. Because sure, yes, you can control your hours, yes, you can control your income, yes, you can control when your holiday is, but you're still bound by your time and when you're going to work for this contractor or this client or whatever it might be. You're still bound by, I have to go and do this at this time, or I have to at least fulfill that promise of that service or product at some point. And until you have a team, until you have leveraged other people's experience and skills to go and do that as part of your business, as an employee or as a contractor for your business, then you're stuck in this position. So perfectly transitioning into a couple of the problems I wanted to, solutions, I wanted to bring up. So obviously we've gone over these problems now. Small businesses, they're working in the business, they're not working on the business. They have this kind of illusion of control. They can't pick their hours. They have seemingly more control than an employee, even though they're just basically owning the job rather than working for another company. But it's more or less the same exact situation. It's just an illusion of control on the surface. So how do we solve this problem? First of all, there is two ways of getting out of this for most small businesses. Two methods that you could use if you're a small business owner. The first one is scaling with your own time and with your own money. And then the other one is leveraging a sort of commission and or franchise model, which is again what Michael E. Gerber talks about in the E-Myth. So the first one requires a little bit more sacrifice, but it will happen much quicker. And the second option requires no sacrifice, but it will be slower. So the way this works is this. The first option is you take on a few more projects, potentially even turning down some smaller profit projects. Let's say you are, this applies to even an online business. Let's say you are let's say you're a marketing agency, like a graphic designer. So let's say whether you're a graphic designer, you charge $500 per project, and you manage, let's say, 4 a month, you make $2K a month, 1 a week, $500 per project. And let's say a plumber as well, they charge $500 per project, they do 4 in a month, they make 2K as well. Two different small businesses in a similar position financially. So how can they get out of their situation? So with the first solution is you turn down lower profit work. So yes, you might still make 500 or might make a bit more, a bit less, but you make more profit from that project. So let's say with the web designer, most of the time it's going to be a fixed, like, costs anyway. But let's say you pick a project that has a 80 or 70% profit margin as opposed to a 40 or 50% profit margin. It might take you a bit longer, but you can use some of that profit to reinvest back into the business. And then maybe with the plumber electrician for 500 per project, you pick a job which again, maybe instead of having 20 or 30% profit margin, has above 50 or 60% profit margin. Maybe it's a job that it's a longer job, but you make more money on it because it's cheaper costs or cheaper resources, materials, whatever. So in that situation, you use that extra profit because it's a more profitable job, and you use that extra profit to reinvest back into the business. Now, the first question is, you might think, well, okay, that extra profit is because it's a longer job or because it's more complicated, so I need the extra money because it takes longer, so how am I meant to survive? How am I meant to grow the business? Valid points. But where this goes is that if you look across the entire month or the entire year, by taking on more higher profit jobs more often and taking less smaller profit jobs over the year, if you look at the extra few percentages difference, let's say you make an extra 100 per job and you're doing an extra 10 or 20 jobs a year. That difference is in those hundreds stacked against each other, or in the few hundreds stacked against each other. For instance, if you make an extra 200 per job and you're doing an extra 4 or 5 a month, that's an extra 800 to 1,000 a month or more that you're making. And this is where that side of this first solution comes in, is you're taking the extra profit from these higher profit jobs you're doing more often, and you're reinvesting that extra small amount you're getting back into the business, into more higher profit jobs. And then once you reach a situation where your calendar gets full up, you then end up getting into a position where you have this extra profits to invest in contractors, in employees, and to be able to finally you have an extra 1.5, 2.5, 3K a month to hire someone now after a few months to get them to handle more projects for you. And then once you have that person, you can then have a profit after the costs of them. So this leads me perfectly into the second solution, which gets you to that employment status for somebody else much quicker, but it's going to take longer to reinvest. But either way, they're both great solutions. So the first one was based on having to get more high profit projects quickly. The second one is based on leveraging someone's talent and skills and experience from day one. So instead of having to find higher profit projects immediately, obviously you can, and that's great, and I still would recommend this for solution 2. But what you're going to do here is you're going to work on a commission basis, whether it's with a contractor or other employees, where you give them X amount of work for these new clients you're going to be taking on. But instead of you taking on these new clients or customers, you're giving it to this person, this contractor or employee, and you're going to basically take a commission profit split like you would do as a business, but you're basically just leveraging their time, skills, and experience and taking the profit from the top as the company does. So let's say, and the great thing about this is also it's scalable, because immediately what you can do is you can have 5 or 10 employees or contractors you're looking for and look for all this extra work for them to fulfill at the same time. So that way, in a sense, it's almost better than solution 1 because you can scale much quicker if you find more people. But realistically, in most cases, it will still take longer. It's just that it doesn't require any of your time or any of your money, because you're leveraging other people's skills, other people's experience, and other people's time, and then you're taking the profit off of the top to reinvest back into the business and find more people and reinvest. And so the way that second solution works, let's say with either positions, you get, let's say you manage 5 projects a month or 5 customers a month. You get 5 new customers a month or projects a month, give them to the contractor or the employee, and you give them a salary or a commission for the projects, and then you pay them the costs, and then whatever's obviously left on the rest after operating costs, you're left with that profit to reinvest back into the business. And the great part even about the second solution is that you've not had to, do any of this extra work yourself to get that extra profit. You've leveraged someone else's time and skills and experience to then get that extra profit to reinvest back into the business, which is what that first solution gets to eventually, but you're beginning with getting more profit, high profit projects first. So bit of a ramble, but I hope that makes sense. Either way, you're getting to the point where you are leveraging other people's time, skills, and experience, which is the most important thing to be able to grow. And again, like I said a few minutes ago, this isn't about becoming some conglomerate. We're not trying to build the next Apple or Amazon. We're simply trying to get to a position where you have more options and more flexibility in your life. Because who doesn't want to be in a position where they can choose whether they want to continue managing the business and running it as a manager or as a CEO or executive, and have a few employees or have many employees as far as you want to go, just have 2 or 3 or have 20 or 30 or 200 or 300, however many you want. But it's about the options, because I believe all small businesses should have the option to whether they want to manage their business, whether they want to grow it, or whether they just want to sit on it as a nice pension fund and just retire, hire a CEO to run it, and that's it. And again, whether it's 2K a month or 2 million a month, it's about getting to that position where you just have those options to be able to do that. So before I end, I do want to subtly plug how I can help with this myself, because I run a marketing agency called Easy360. If you don't already know, we help small business owners, like I said at the beginning, which is part of the big problem I was trying to talk about. How do we help small business owners get out of the situation where they're working in their business to a position where they're working on the business? And everything I've mentioned in today's video is exactly how we do that. So obviously we focus on helping you find those high profit projects and even helping you find those contractors and other employees so that you can scale the business and grow it to a position where you have those options sooner. So if you do want to get to a position where you have those options, you have that freedom and flexibility to do whatever you want. And we're not on about becoming some millionaire sat in his cigar lounge in his mansion, wherever he is in the world. We're on about just having the options. If you want to do that, for sure. If you want to grow some big multinational company, all the power to you. If you just want to be able to manage your business rather than running it on a day-to-day, then you have that option as well. But I want to give you that option today. So if you're interested, if I don't stumble over my words, check out the link in the description of this video for the link to my website to book a free 15-minute demo call. I have a video in that page as well that goes over exactly how we help you and the types of businesses we help as well. But we basically help every type of business, whether you're a product-based business or a service-based business. whether you're known locally only, whether you're only known online, whatever type of business you are, but especially if you're a small business in the situations like I've talked about today, then we are here to help you. So check out the link in the description below, and I'll be happy to jump on a call with you and see how we can help you grow your business. But nonetheless, hope you've enjoyed today's video. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.